Most people think Claude Code is autocomplete, a fancy way to finish your lines. But it's something bigger. An agentic partner that thinks, reads, writes, builds and reviews right alongside you. The coding, that's just the finale. Claude Code reads your context, runs real commands, and produces real artifacts. Here are 7 jobs it does. Brainstorming, reading code, creating documents, prototyping, reviewing, simulating, and finally coding. Notice, coding sits in the dark card, deliberately last. Everything before it makes the code that ships better. Job 1 happens before any code exists. Claude Code as a brainstorming and thinking partner. Treat it like a senior collaborator who pushes back. It questions your assumptions, surfaces edge cases you missed, and writes decisions into your Claude.md file so they stick. Plan mode Shift-Tab twice lets it explore options without touching a single file. A one-liner becomes a PRD, an architecture sketch, or a business plan. Job 2. Drop it into an unfamiliar code base and watch it explain itself in minutes. Ask a plain question. It reads the files, the GIT history, and the dependencies. Here, 142 files, then answers like a patient teammate. Routes, to handlers, to a Stripe adapter, and exactly where the risky logic hides. Perfect for onboarding, legacy code, or any open source repo. Job 3. Real deliverables, not just text. Through skills, Claude Code produces polished, ready-to-send files. PDF reports, slide decks, in fact, this very deck was made this way, memos and specs, or spreadsheets and models. You describe the deliverable, and it writes the actual file you can open. Job 4. From an idea to something you can actually click. Stand up a throwaway app, a landing page, or an interactive mock in minutes, not sprints. Describe what you want. Claude scaffolds a working build, you run it and click around, then refine it or bin it without guilt. Prototyping lowers the cost of being wrong. Job 5. A second pair of eyes on demand. Point it at a diff, a file, or a whole pull request. With full project context, it flags what matters, like user input flowing straight into a SQL query, or an N+1 that hammers your database. And it runs in CI on GitHub and GitLab, reviewing every pull request, not just on your laptop. Job 6. Fill the gaps around your code. Building software needs more than the software itself. Claude Code spins up the supporting cast, realistic synthetic data with sensible edge cases, fake APIs and simulators so you can build against systems you don't have yet, and full test suites that it runs and fixes. And finally, Job 7. Yes, it codes. When it's time to build, it works at the project level, whole tasks, not line-by-line autocomplete. It plans a feature across files, writes it, runs the tests, patches what fails, then commits and opens a pull request natively. You define the goal, and you review the result. A handful of plain files turn a generic agent into one that knows your stack. The Claude.md file holds instructions, loaded every session. Memory.md is what Claude writes itself. Skills package workflows, settings control permissions, and hooks fire shell commands that are enforced, not advisory. And .mcp connects your tools. The rule of thumb, Claude.md and memory guide the agent, hooks enforce. So here's the whole idea. You describe the outcome, and Claude Code does the work. Brainstorm, understand a code base, ship a document, prototype, review and simulate, long before and well beyond writing the code itself. Across your terminal, IDE, desktop, and browser.